Beep, beep, beep. Hi everyone, hope everybody's well. I bet I look tired, don't I? I still haven't really recovered from that marathon, I don't think. So I've been pushing myself a little bit hard. Go hard or go home, which means that I'm actually quite a bit tired. So, lesson for everybody there, listen to your body. Listen to your body. So, we're going to talk about marathons again, interesting enough. Not the running of them, so don't freak out and go fitness knobheads talking about how much of a fitness knobhead he is. We're not talking about that. It's today is the 3rd anniversary of my first marathon, which was the London Marathon. 13th of April 2014. And there's an interesting story behind this if you don't know it. About 9 weeks prior to me running the London Marathon, my mum died of cancer. So what I did was I successfully raised about £2,500 from Macmillan Cancer Support. And also, I promised my mum on her deathbed that I would do this marathon in 4 hours. Right, now at this point, I had no clue really about how to prepare for a marathon. I wasn't as sort of competent as I am now, so I was a bit sort of behind where I am now. So I thought this 4 hour thing was alright, based on some of the training runs that I'd done. What I hadn't accounted for is the fact that 4 hours is actually quite quick. It was boiling bloody hot, and I didn't know what to expect. So my prep was terrible. Compared to now, my prep was terrible. So it caught me out a little bit in terms of what I had to do. So I was a little bit all over the place, but did it in 3:59:21 as I promised her I would, because that's the power of a promise. So going back to what I talked about briefly yesterday, about doing what you say, I mean, that was probably the first major incident in my life where I saw the power of keeping your promises to yourself and keeping your promises to somebody else, because nobody would have cared. I mean, she wasn't there, she wouldn't have cared what I did it in, you know what I mean? But because I promised her, I did it, and it showed me sort of the benefits of and how powerful that is to do what you say you're going to do, and that's part of the point I was talking about yesterday, really, on the video. So it was quite a profound experience, and it was as much as it was sad, and the whole thing was sad, and it was sort of, there was more to come in terms of the darkness, the sadness around the situation. That light of knowing that you can do what you say you're going to do if you've got the power of promise will stay with me always. So it was really powerful. Now, that was 3 years ago. Now, I recently did another marathon, where I was very well prepared, knew what I was doing, and actually it was, compared to that, it was not easy, but it was a world of difference. So here's the problem. Now, the first point I'm going to make is just reiterating yesterday's point about doing what you say you're going to do, because that was so powerful, making that promise. And I understand that everybody's different and everybody's got different objectives in life, and some people just like to moan, and that's the way they are. Yeah. So, for example, with the business that I work in, some people will piss and moan about how out of shape and fat they are, yet do nothing about it. Yeah. They will claim that they can't afford help, yet they'll piss out £4 worth of coffee a day. Yeah. Or have a massive telly, or pay 100 quid for Sky, or do all these things. And you have to realise that some people just aren't going to change. Yeah? But for me, 9 weeks after losing somebody early, 64, it wasn't sort of, she wasn't in her 90s, it was early, or earlier than you would anticipate, taught me a lesson about what you're capable of as a human being when you just park the bullshit and you park the excuses. Because I thought to myself, well, if I can do this 9 weeks after she passed, and and do what I said in the light of that, then what? And I've had people tell me they don't want to train because they don't want to get their hands wet. Do you know what I mean? You kind of, it builds up this resiliency and this strength inside you to overcome anything. Okay, and that was the biggest lesson it was, and it's the lesson that's important, because what people say to me sometimes is, well, yeah, but I don't want to run, and I don't want to. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got nothing to do with that. What it's got to do with is, it's got about building up your resiliency to certain situations. So now I have a resource that says, shit, if I can do that, what else can I do? But the problem is, people don't expose themselves enough to situations that challenge them, so they never build up resources that then allow them to conquer obstacles. So when things do get tough, they become victims, or they become entitled, or they point fingers and do these and engage in these silly things that don't get them the results they're looking to get. So that was the first thing about it. You know, unless you put yourself in a situation where you've got to build up this resiliency, this adversity quotient, as it's called, this ability to deal with adversity, you're never going to get anywhere. And there's absolutely no point pissing and moaning about being out of shape, pissing and moaning about your job or whatever it might be, because if you want it easy, but you want to achieve things, these two don't go hand in hand. So I knew on that day I had to put myself in that situation, yeah, to expose myself to see what I could do and see what I was capable of. And it makes people uncomfortable when I talk about it, of course it does, but I'm not scared of talking about it, because it gives me an example of how you can do something even in the light of sadness and darkness like that, yeah? Because most people, you know, stub their toe and act like it's a disaster and a tragedy, yeah? And then when the real tragedies come, yeah, it's, you know, people can't cope with it. So unless you build up this resiliency, unless you build up this strength against adversity, you're never going to be successful, or you're never going to achieve anything. Now, you don't have to achieve anything. You don't have to do anything. You can do what you want. But the truth is, most of the things that people aspire to, be it, you know, material, financial success, whatever that is, weight loss, a better relationship, a better job, those things are achieved through struggle, yeah? And when I say struggle, I don't mean it's like impossibly hard. I just mean it involves working at something despite external circumstances in some cases. Because I could have said, I'm not doing that marathon anymore, I'm too upset, I'm too sad. And no one would have called me out on that. No one would have said, you know, oh, don't be a wuss. They would have said, that's understandable, yeah. But for me, it was better to use the sadness and use the darkness to push me forward, so I could say, shit, if I can do that, what else can I do? And that's what I've done ever since I've lost weight. Because those guys who know me from 2005, when I was a mess, overweight, smoking, drinking, poor diet, virtually sedentary, blaming everybody, entitled, angry, all these things, yeah, that was it. That was like not taking no responsibility for anything. Whereas this taught me that actually you'll be amazed what you can achieve, even in the light of some of the worst circumstances that, you know, you can face a person, which is losing somebody you love and losing them earlier than you should. So, yeah, it was a great lesson. And the lesson for everybody else here is, and if you want to achieve something, you've got to understand that there's going to be some resiliency you need to build up. And the only way to do that is to face the struggles that you're potentially scared of, because the fear doesn't go away, yeah, it doesn't go. You just have to push through it, yeah, and understand that there's no shortcut, yeah, there's no quick fix. It involves a process, and without resiliency you'll never fulfill that process. I've had them all in my time. People who've been really overweight, really down on themselves, yeah, yet as soon as adversity hits, they don't want to know. Yeah, they don't want to push through it. Well, unless you push through it, be it weight loss, fitness, work, business, relationships, whatever, you're never going to get to the other side, and you're never going to build up the skills you need and the almost, you know, bulletproof nature that you need to achieve what you need to achieve. So it's not about me, and it's not about marathons, and it's not about running. It's about situations. And eventually, for all of us, there's going to be some adversity comes along. And adversity will expose you. And like I heard in the brilliant book, Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, he said, when we cut you open, what will we see? Air, iron, or bullshit? Yeah? Because sometimes, you know, life's going to give you a little cut. And it will show you something, and it will show, and you'll see what you're made of. Yeah? And in London, 13th of April 2014, was one of the first times in my life, and I've had a few, but it was the first time really that I said, bloody hell, I've got something here, I'm capable of something here, yeah? And hopefully, it exposed that actually I'm made of a fair old bit, yeah? Not through luck, not through genetics, through resiliency and learning how to cope with adversity, yeah? Because no amount of Facebook statuses and Twitter updates and pictures, yeah, is going to take away the fact that you've got to deal with it, yeah? And that was the best lesson I've ever been taught in my whole life about what I'm capable of. Yeah, in the face of sadness and darkness that you wouldn't imagine. So, yeah, the lesson for today is quite simply this: you'll be amazed what you're capable of when you stop expecting things to be easy and start acknowledging the challenges, working through them, and building up the resiliency. That's all. Have a good day. Oh, and have a nice Easter, because I'm going away tomorrow. So have a nice Easter. Yeah.